Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and we have an outstanding, packed panel along with some really amazing topics to get into. The showcase, folks, is going to be this Sunday. And obviously, this year is not E3. It is going to be a bit different. Leading off the festivities, if you will, is going to be, well, Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. And interestingly enough, he has already put out there to temper expectations that it's going to be smaller. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles that it's known for the Game Awards. And I kind of wonder why that is. Now, is this a Xbox thing? Because Xbox, I would imagine, is saving all their best stuff for themselves in their showcase. Sony had a showcase and it really wasn't good. And Nintendo, Nintendo is they're gonna Nintendo. So he's kind of left holding the bag. And what's interesting about it is the fact that he is probably responsible for killing E3. Now, I don't take any blame away from the ESA. They did some pretty heinous things in regards to like securing, I don't know, journalists' home addresses and their phone numbers. So they didn't do what they were supposed to do, but he was supposed to take the lead, and based on what he's saying, we're going to get into it. That's not the case. And we also have a report from Xbox Era, good friends of the program, great friends of the community, where we have potentially a shadow drop of a first-party game. I think it's going to be the Gears collection. We're going to get into what they think it is. We have a bunch of things we're going to get into. And according to this report, this comes the way of Ecstasies. Now, if you don't know who he is a Spanish YouTuber who is well-connected, dynamite human being. I know him personally. He's been on the show a couple of times. Great content creator. He says from sources that he has spoken to that there is going to be a handheld reveal at the showcase, hinting of when we could possibly get the Xbox handheld. But before we get to all of that, we got to welcome in the panel, and one panel member who was on the panel for over 3 years, had to leave for professional reasons, is back. Our brother from Germany, Boxenberger. How you feeling, kind sir?
Thanks for having me back, Boom. It's been way too long since I've been on your show. But like you said, we did this for more than 3 years on a weekly basis together, and then some real life stuff happened. I had to change jobs, and I had to drop out. But I'm super excited to be back here today. It's gonna be an awesome show. I mean, the excitement in the air right in front of the Xbox showcase is always high. But with this stellar panel here, my brother Umbra, Crazy Louie, and of course the elusive gamer, it's gonna be an absolute blast here today. So thanks for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for being a part of today's show. Again, this is we're going to talk about, again, we're going to open up with the Keighley stuff. We're going to back end it with some expectations for the showcase, some rumors, some speculation, if you will. And you know what? Ultimately, we're going to have a great time. Infinite Umbra, what's going on, dude? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, Boom. Even better to have Boxenberger back here with us, baby.
Yeah.
Good to see you back here, brother. Yeah, man, I'm happy. Boom, I'm excited. We got a nice full panel here today. We don't always have that luxury, so this is going to be a good one. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. And man, I'm excited in general. Like, you can hear my energy level is a little bit different. You see I'm not like tired. You can hear the difference. And it's literally because I'm like, at the same time as I'm talking to you guys, I'm creating right now in my advert for this week, because I'm excited to do like prediction talks and stuff like that for this upcoming showcase. Showcase season is like, I get really excited about that, as I'm sure all of us do. So I'm excited to be here with you guys today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get into a lot of the conversation. The closer we get to Sunday, and again, I'm not taking anything away from what Jeff is going to do. I'm not taking anything from what IGN could potentially do. It's their first showcase, right? It's the first one. Usually, the first one has a lot of bugs and things, but we'll see. I'll be in LA from Thursday to Monday. I'm going to all of the events. I'm going to the Xbox showcase. I'm going to be at the Call of Duty showcase. I'm going to IGN Live. I'm also going to the Summer Games Fest with Keeley. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to some big surprises. I mean, again, we're just at the halfway mark of the year, and we still have a lot of games to come out. So it's going to be a lot of fun this next couple of days, give or take. But Crazy Lou Gaming, welcome back, dude. It's nice to have you here, and at least you're not possessed by the picture behind you. How you feeling?
Oh man, Mr. Boosted, good morning to everybody. I'm so happy to be here on the show today, man. Super excited. Ah man, earlier today I was wearing clown makeup, and the
I
guys
saw
wanted
that.
the guys wanted me to come on the show with the clown makeup, but damn it, I got a phone call for work. But either way though, happy to be here, join you guys, man. Super excited, and hey, we got Boxing Burger in the building, man. I just had to do that. I love doing that. Oh man, let's have some fun.
Absolutely. And not to be outdone, no way indeed last. The elusive gamer, Jamie Moran, who puts out pretty incredible content, also really good tweets that seem to rile up everyone when all he's talking about is excitement. Hey, Jamie, you have a knack for doing that. And of course, as we know, you are wanted #1 from the Arkham Asylum escapees. How you feeling, dude? How's everything?
Hey man, happy to be here. It's crazy because I don't actually go out and wait to anger people, but
No, you're having fun. You're like, hey, game A is looking great. It's going to be on the Series X. You're excited, and everyone seems to get all bent out of shape. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I can make a post or a video about something positive, and people will act like I slapped the grandmother. I don't know why, but hey, anyway, we've got all the game showcases coming up. It's an exciting time. It's basically Christmas for gamers, but unfortunately this time, Christmas is hosted by Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I am a fan of the game show in December. I have been for a long time. I don't always agree with the way Keighley conducts himself. You can see clearly that there is a double standard. He promotes Xbox when he has to. He promotes PlayStation every time he has an opportunity. Now, why is that? Is it because they pay the bills? Could be. It could be that he's just a big fan. Now, granted, I'm a fan of PlayStation, but I'm an Xbox guy. I'm an Xbox guy first. I single out Sony when there are stories to talk about, but I don't normally, do the console war stuff. I find it to be boring. But I will put them on blast, like we're gonna do to open up the show with the PlayStation VR adapter for PC. Not really good, folks. We are going to get into it. Why it's not good. Another half measure, half step, however you want to put it out for the way Sony does business. It's just I don't understand them sometimes. It is a head scratcher. But listen, I think Keighley did some really great things for the industry, making it more mainstream, especially when it comes to the awards. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, and that's fine. We don't have to. You don't have to like the guy. I just think that he's done some pretty good things for the industry. And listen, we'll see how the Summer's Game Fest on Friday turns out. Whether it's going to be a bust, whether it's going to be a Sony level disappointment, only time is going to tell. But gentlemen and chat, we have almost 500. We have over 550 people here watching live. I do want to say that Mrs. Boom and I are on the hunt for 15K. We'd love to do that in 2024. Last couple of videos that we've done have done really well, and we've gotten a bunch of new subs, which is great. If you are finding the channel for the first time and you are interested in 5-day-a-week coverage, look no further than Double Barrel Gaming. But listen, I pulled a story here, folks, from VGC. Now, obviously, that is Andy Robinson and the crew. I like them a lot. Sometimes they get it wrong, but we all get it wrong, so it's not a problem. I do like VGC. I do use their things more often than not. Well, the PlayStation VR 2.0 came out to a whimper. It sold about 600,000 units upon its release. I don't even know if it's gotten to 1 million yet. To say that it's been a disappointment for PlayStation proper, it'd be an understatement. It's doing so poorly that they've actually stopped production. And then this production stop was a couple of months ago, as we heard. We know that they closed London Studios, which was one of the big studios making VR games for them. And well, if they're closing down the VR studio, it probably means that Sony's going to do what Sony normally does with their hardware, and that's not PlayStation, and they're not going to support it. Boxenberger, you're a PC guy, so you understand the tech specs of what's going on here. So the PC MR, which is the PC Master Race, have been looking for a way to get the PlayStation VR to work on their PC.
Yeah.
What's interesting here today on today's first topic is that Sony has created an adapter that's cost $60, and you'll be able to plug your PlayStation VR 2.0 using this adapter into your PC. The problem here is what you can't do with the VR unit that you can do if it's hooked up to your PS2. I mean your PS2, your PS5 is there will be no HDR, there'll be no headset feedback, there'll be no eye tracking, there'll be no adaptive triggers or haptic feedback. None of this is going to be supported on PC. Seems like a giant half step, in my opinion. What's yours?
I really don't understand why. There's no technical reason why this stuff shouldn't work. HDR works on PC. Haptic feedback works on PC. If you connect your PlayStation 5 controller to PC, you can make it work. Effortless, by the way. Yeah, connect and play God of War on PC, and you got the haptic feedback. There's no reason to not implement this stuff. So I really don't get why. The VR2 wasn't a success for them. So we all get that they kind of need to, increase their install base for it in order for developers to actually make games for it and to make it at least a little business case success. But to take away features that are simply available on console and could be easily implemented on PC as well really doesn't make any sense. But I think it goes along with Sony's strategy to always try to, provide something unique on the console. Maybe that's the idea. Not that I agree with that approach, but yeah, that's why they announced last week. Yeah, we're not bringing the single player games day and date to PC. Whether that makes sense or not, but that's the only explanation I got, that they want to have the VR2 as something special on the console. But if you really want to grow your install base, and with PC, you can easily do that because the device itself is a good hardware. Don't get me wrong. In itself, it's got good specs. It's comfortable. It has a good screen. It's a good piece of hardware. And VR on console is just significantly better supported than it is on console, because they are the only ones doing it, and nobody makes games for an install base of around 1 million million VR headsets sold. So that's obvious, but on PC that's a different thing. So I really don't understand why they don't make the PSVR as attractive as possible. But yeah, sometimes Sony is just what they are, right? Just a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's disappointing, especially if they were looking to move units. If you want to sell your unit, which still is priced at $550, which is ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Where you actually have wires, you need something else to use it to play with it, right? Obviously, it can't be like the MetaQuest 3. You simply just put it on, you power it up, and your room is where you go.
Exactly.
It's one of those head scratching moves from Sony that we consider to be a half step.
Absolutely.
It's these half measures.
You brought up a good point. There are so many other headsets on PC. So in a similar price range that have even better specs, So why would if you're a PC gamer, why would you invest in that now? Not getting HDR, the feedback, and so on. losing out on these features while other headsets in a similar price range provide that at better specs with no cords attached to your headset. So it doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah. Umbra, you are, as someone that has joined the PC master race, as it were. This is one of those things that people were hoping that they would be able to use to their advantage. Because listen, like Boxenberger said, it's comfortable. It's, from what we understand, it's lightweight. The issue I have immediately is the wire. I know it's just one wire, but it's still a wire. You're still attached to something where, like, for instance, I could not use the workout program that I have for MetaQuest 3 if I had a wire, because I would tear something out of the wall in the boxing movements that I use it for 3 days a week. It would be ridiculous.
What were you playing? Tybo, the Xbox edition?
No,
actually, Supernatural Fitness is what I use.
He was playing Punch the PS5. That's what he was punching.
Punch the PS5 in the distance.
I was punching ponies.
There you go.
There you go. Punching
and I was
ponies.
exploding them. No, I use something called Supernatural Fitness is what I use. But, oh my goodness, it's gone off the rails, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies. Look, let's talk about this, because there are so many features missing from this. $550 before tax device, so $600 to get this into your home. You have to spend an additional $60 for the adapter, and well, there you go. I don't think it's enough. To me, it's a half step. I hate when Sony does things like this. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I mean, like you said, it's a half step for sure. But that $60 or whatever, $50 for the adapter for one is crazy. But it's what you expect from Sony. I expect them to charge you crazy, like ridiculous prices for a simple device. Also, too, I mean, you hit it on the head. You said it already. You said there's no HDR, there's no headset feedback, there's no eye tracking, there's no adaptive triggers that work with it, no haptic feedback other than rumble. You know what else it doesn't have? It won't have sales either, released. It won't have that. And that's the thing. Like, and I don't understand why they would think anybody would go for this when you have better options on PC, that you can use right now, from Oculus to as I was talking to my brothers Kay Asante and John Wolf on their show yesterday, in fact, should I say, and we talked about this. I couldn't give much in the way of it because, as I've said many times, I do not care about VR, right? It doesn't do anything for me. The only time I would really be interested in it is if it's like to the level of the Matrix where I'm plugged in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or Ready Player One for that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm going to have to be able to like taste the steak like old boy did on the Matrix. Like, oh, this my brain is telling me it's a steak. I'm going to have to be able to taste the steak and mentally in my head before I can really get into this, but
you're not wrong, sir.
That's how I see it. But my thing is if you're going to offer that, and the problem is with them, it's the same situation they fall into with the whole idea of thinking that PC gamers are going to go suddenly buying PlayStation 5s to get those exclusives when they'll just wait, is that Sony is like, oh, here, throw a little pittance toward the people. Like, here you go. You can go play Half-Life Alyx at half the fun now with all the stuff that you won't be having. Now, that's not to say that somebody on PC. I'm gonna guess that somebody on PC, some genius, is going to be able to install all those things back into it software wise into some little downloadable package. I'm going to guess that. I wouldn't doubt for 1 second that these geniuses that are online somewhere will be able to patch that all through and have it working. I think, though, the problem is that you still have better headsets out there in the market. Again, you can look at the MetaQuest 3. You can look at the what's the name of that one from the Valve Index? That's the one Kate was talking about. So you got the Oculus, and so you got all these other options that are cheaper, mind you. So why would I go for that when it's already hampered and hurt, where I have to do additional things to get it to be up to par already? And exactly the Vive. I forgot about that one, HTC. So it's like it's to me, it's already, as they would say, dead on arrival. I just don't see a need for it, and it seems like Sony kind of shot themselves in the foot, like putting it out there this way. Maybe they'll revise it and change things, but I don't understand I don't get the idea of putting out like not your best foot forward, but just throwing anything out there. I can guarantee you the PC gamers are not going to be like, oh yeah, I got to get this PSVR too. Like they're not going to be doing that. Not when they have better options and don't have to do more menial work to try to get it to work up to par. I just don't understand. I don't get the mindset. I don't really get the logic behind that.
Yeah, I don't listen. Sony does some things that are good. They haven't recently, to be honest with you. Again, this is not like attacking Sony. They make good first party games. Now they haven't done that in a while. We haven't. I don't remember the last Ghost of Tsushima. That is tip of the spear. There are a lot of games that they've made in the past that are great. People still play them to these days. People are still discovering them. But this industry is all about what have you done for me lately, and they have not done much, to be quite honest with you. Helldivers 2, I've talked about it numerous times, is a great success for Sony. And it really does cement that if they put a good studio that has a good product, they could actually make a multiplayer game that matters. But this is one of those situations where, okay, so we already know that VR is niche, right? Crazy Lou Gaming. I use it. Kay Asante uses it. A lot of people enjoy it. I really enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I am so excited for VR gaming because there's an Aliens VR game coming that looks dope. They have a Batman Arkham game that looks freaking amazing. The reveal is going to happen at the Keeleys. I'm very excited for that. I mean, again, it's not the Arkham game that we all want, but I'll take it. It's in VR. That's cool. What are your thoughts on this, Crazy Lou Gaming? Again, I think this is just a bonehead move, man. It just really is.
Well, like Umbra said it, there's others that are cheaper, right? That you can go ahead and buy it, but probably has a lot of the features that the PSVR 2 has. This move that they're making, it got posted to me yesterday, and I was talking about it a little bit in the morning, but today I just went deep dive into it. I talked a couple things, right? For example, you got this PSVR 2 adapter coming out, right? A good move for Sony would have been, hey, if you guys got a PSVR 2, type in your serial number. We'll send you a free adapter for you guys to use this adapter. I mean, that would have been a good move. I don't remember if I don't know if you remember that Kinect did this with the Xbox, that when the Xbox One S came out, in order to adapt the Kinect, they had an adapter. Now, if you had a Kinect, they said, here, give us a serial number. We'll send you a free adapter for you to adapt your Kinect. I mean, that would have been great if Sony would have wanted to do that, right? That would have been great. That's one thing. Another thing is $60 for a downgrade. That's not a good move. I mean, it's expensive, right? It's $60. It's expensive for basically getting a downgrade. Now, if you would have gotten like a cool upgrade, like you could use your PSVR wireless, I don't know, because I'm not really that techie type of guy. But this is a downgrade totally, because basically it takes like 80% of the features that the PSVR has. It takes it away. And like Umbra says, to sit down and just to get this for you to buy this adapter and then start adjusting to get this to work, it's insane. I mean, why not just put it simple? But Umbra, I got the answer for you and why they're doing this, because they're doing this to the Steam community too. I mean, look what's happening out there, right? Boom said they put out a successful multiplayer, but how can it be successful if I, in Dominican Republic, cannot purchase it? You know where I can purchase it? Only on the PlayStation. That's it right here. Only on this baby I can purchase it. But on Steam, I cannot purchase it. It does not let me purchase it because it requires a PSN account, which I have too, and that's not my problem. My problem is I just cannot access nothing to the game. I can't buy it. I can't do nothing, absolutely nothing. So what PlayStation is doing with this whole adapter thing is telling you, hey, it's not going to work on PC, but here on the PS5, it works perfectly. So you got to get yourself a PS5 for it to work 100%. That's what they're doing. They're basically trying to force you in a way without telling you that you need the PS5 to make it work 100%, which is a shame. It sucks that they're doing this. It sucks. It's for me, it's totally, I find it like an anti-consumer situation, because basically, okay, I go out there, I'm like, man, I want to buy a headset. Oh, this PSVR 2 looks cool. Look at everything it has. I buy it. but man, I get this adapter, and yet it takes away all the features. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't understand why they keep doing this instead of being like all open and say, okay, get the adapter. We're going to give you everything this PSVR 2 was going to give you for you not to go out there and buy another option, because that's what people are going to do at the end of the day. They're going to go out there, buy another option. Of course, it's going to sell probably to probably 50 or 100 consumers out there that probably say, hey, let me go buy it to play some games on PC. I don't know how much, but it's going to sell because I know there's going to be fans say, yes, I'm going to go and buy it so I can prove everybody that this is the best thing that's ever happened. I know it's going to happen. But at the end of the day, like I said, $60 for a downgrade, that's not cool. I mean, seriously, let go. Let the PC community jump in, enjoy the products you have, because hey, you could be banking from this, guys. I don't understand. It's like they want your money, but take away like 80% of what the PSVR can do. What? Why? Because to get us to go out there and buy a PS5, I mean, you guys still do not get the idea that the PC community and everybody that's gaming on PC, because I said this before, right? You put $2,000 to $4,000 on a PC. Are you going to pay an extra $500 or $700 that it cost here to go buy a PS5? Hell no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to play something else. So we're going to buy another VR headset and have fun. That's what we're going to do. So you guys are missing out on banking, and that's the truth.
Yeah, again, I don't know who they were marketing this to, but it's gonna be DOA, kind of like Concord. Sorry, I had to take a shot at that game because PC Mag said that they're very excited for this game. Okay, the capping is just embarrassing. You saw my tweet out there. I got a lot of traction. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, PC Mag garbage." I think that I said that's. You know what's funny here? It's PC Mag. That's what's funny. Listen, Jamie, let's bring you in on this on the final point of this conversation. Again, if you just look at the missteps that Sony has been taking in the last couple of months, it's just been like, who's steering the ship here? And obviously, let's put this into perspective, why this doesn't make any sense. They have a showcase, it comes out, and it's egregious. It is a 5 because of Astrobot. That's why it's a 5. And that's not good. Astrobot, I'm buying day one. I'm a fan of platformers. That game looks dope. I'm definitely getting that. But, and you have the business meeting with Herman Holtz. He goes on to say that, hey, our strategy is to put older games on PC to get PC gamers to buy a PlayStation 5. Just dumb. And then you see this half-step move where the adapter $60, PSVR 2.0 not selling, literally sitting on shelves, still $550, and they say, hey, we're going to allow the PC players to go and get at it, and they're taking away all these features. Now, granted, I saw some people in the chat, and Umber made mention of it. The PC community is probably going to fix this in a snap. But why should they? Why should they have to do that? How come Sony doesn't do that? Let's get your hot take on this conundrum.
I mean, the PlayStation VR is a half step in general. Don't get me wrong. It's an impressive piece of technology, what it can do, what it's capable of, and it even looks cool. But the problem is PlayStation hasn't really supported it in any way since it came out. It's had some sporadic games now and there, and they've pretty much almost discontinued the manufacturing of the device. There's no major first-party games in development for it. Like, think about this: they launched their console in 2020 and talked about VR the whole time, hyped up people on this new VR, and then when they finally launched their new VR headset, it cost more than their console, and it didn't have like a wide range of games. And when it comes to VR, you're pretty much limited to first-person shooters. Like, that's all you see people make, like first-person adventure, first-person shooters. So, like, the choice there isn't really that good. And, like, people aren't buying it. It's created this sort of endless loop. People aren't buying it because there aren't enough games on it, and there aren't enough games on it because not enough people are buying it. So, like, people on console aren't buying it. So, like, on PC, this is a last-ditch effort for them. People were saying Call of Duty on Game Pass was a last-ditch effort. This is a last-ditch effort. given like PC support for this device, and it has like less features, so you're paying more for less features. So are they trying to do what? Trying to entice people to buy a $500 console to use those extra features? That doesn't make sense. The PC gamers aren't going to do that. And if you think about it, it's really insulting to PC gamers because they already have access to multiple different headsets, a lot of which can do the same. And like, look at the Meta Quest 3, that can do a lot of the same, and it's about the same price. And then you have the wireless options. So it's like, what is the point of this even existing? Is it just to have the PlayStation brand attached to something on PC? Is it to try and garner a fan base on PC for PlayStation? It doesn't make sense. PlayStation VR to me is MVP, minimal viable product. They aren't doing anything with it, and it's evident because like if like PlayStation, this powerhouse and all this stuff, and people talk about Xbox to having games and stuff. Nintendo's in the corner doing their own thing. PlayStation isn't really an exciting topic at the minute. In general, like they don't really have much going on. There isn't many first-party titles coming out. There's Concord coming out later this year, which we'll talk about in a bit, which has controversy over it. But like, there's nothing really interesting when it comes to PlayStation at the minute because there's no first-party stuff. So the whole VR situation's on topic. I think PlayStation VR is kind of done. They aren't making major first-party titles for it. Major third-party companies aren't making games for it. So, like, what is the point of the headset existence? So we can get these tech demos now and then. And like, if you look at the image on Twitter, they use the premier VR game, Half-Life Alyx, in the image. And if you look at a lot of the replies, people think Half-Life Alyx is coming to PlayStation. So it's like, it was a really good way to market that, but I think at the end of the day, PC gamers just have way more options to choose from, and this costing more, it doesn't make much sense. It just doesn't. And I think, will there ever be a PlayStation VR 3? I think going off the things we're seeing right now, no. The VR market is weird. The VR market is very weird because people aren't buying enough products. So nobody's making games, like I said. And I think, like I said, this is a last-ditch effort. It's pretty much the end.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I do think it's the end, and it's unfortunate because it's a very typical Sony move. Put out a piece of hardware, get your fan base to buy said hardware, stop supporting said hardware after a year, and that is why I didn't buy a PlayStation VR 2.0. I bought the first one. I reinvested, sold the other one privately, and got the HDR pass through with PlayStation VR. The first one. I really enjoyed it. It had a lot of games that I really enjoyed and was looking forward to getting this, only to be told that, well, those games are not backwards compatible. So, yeah, there's that. No, thank you. And, well, look what wound up happening. They wind up abandoning it, which is just gross. But look, what great way to start off the show. We still have a strong 90 minutes left. I do want to get into, an article that was posted by Xbox Era. Now, listen, folks, I get that there are a lot of people in here that have lost trust in Xbox Era. I'm here to tell you that I have not. Have they gotten some things wrong? Has Nick been wrong? Yes. And so have I, and everyone on this panel for that matter. But I will tell you what Nick has that I don't, and that is connections that he gets right. He is well connected. And, well, listen, your mileage is going to vary on whether or not you believe there's going to be this first party drop, the shadow drop, if you will, and whether or not the report that, again, it's not from Xbox Era. They are reporting based on Ecstasy's connections and what he said on Twitter, but they made a story, which I pulled. Now I'm friends with both Xbox Era, everyone on that team, and Ecstasies for that matter as well. But I want to get into this because we have a good idea, Boxenberger, what's going to be at the show. I think it's safe to say anybody of the 1,000 people that are here, which is crazy, by the way, to have that many people watching us live from Twitter and, of course, YouTube. That is we're gonna probably see Perfect Dark. I think it's safe to say any one of us on the panel or in the chat could say, "Hey, Fable." Yes, it's probably going to be there. There's been some talk about Gears 6 being there. There's been talk for months about the Gears of War collection potentially being a shadow drop there. I talked to a connection that believes that told me not only is it real, and we all know it's real because I'm not the only one talking about it, but that it is going to drop. Now, is it a shadow drop? I don't know. But listen, according to Ecstasies, we're going to, again, this is going to be one of those topics that we, you know what? I'm not even going to split it. I'm just going to let you go ham on it because this is a beefy one. The Xbox handheld box and burger is something that we've all been asking for. Now, I have a ROG Ally, but it's very PC. I'm not a PC guy. I play on it. I enjoy it. It's very top heavy for PC. That's not what I'm looking for. I simply want a handheld that's branded with Xbox, whether it be black, whether it be white. I don't care what the color is. And when I put the power button on, I want it to act like my console. I want to see the Xbox logo come on. I want all of my tiles there. I want the background that I chose. And I'm going to press the A button and I'm going to go. That's what I want. That is what Ecstasies is saying is potentially going to be teased at this event. And on top of that, he also suggests through someone he has spoken to on good authority that there is definitely going to be a first-party shadow drop on Sunday. Let's get into it, dude.
Yeah. Let me start with the shorter topic of the shadow drop. See, that's my general problem with all these alleged insiders these days. None of these insiders are insider guessings. This is just educated guesswork here. Towerborn has been playable for more than a year now. I played it last year at Gamescom. It was in a fantastic state. I've been part of the beta. Can't really talk about the game, but the things I can say is they allowed you to play the game, the full game, in the beta for 6 months. It ran flawlessly. It is more than a safe, well-educated guess to just say, "Oh, I have a source here." Yeah, bro, trust me, I have a source. It's gonna shadow drop. Of course, that game is ready for 6 months now. I've been playing it for 6 months, 5 months or so. So, yeah, I don't really trust these insiders. There are a few insiders that have been proven to actually have sources that I do trust. I don't trust these guys anymore. This is like,
that's fair.
It's very, you can make a lot of guesswork here. I have a source that told me that Doom is going to be there, right? Yeah, it's educated guesswork that it's going to be there. So I'm really not a fan of these kind of rumors. However, I want to touch on the handheld thing because that gives me goosebumps, man. I'm pretty much in the same boat like you are. I have the ROG Ally and I love it, and I play it a lot because I have to travel a lot, and it is fantastic handheld, but it is a PC. It literally runs Windows, and you have to deal with all the issues that come along with dealing with Windows and gaming on Windows, and tons of updates and driver issues and this and that. And on top of that, you have the third-party problem. I've talked on my podcast a lot about this because it comes down to the question: whether you buy the third-party games, you're right. I love to play my games on the console, but when I decide to, play Dragon's Dogma, do I buy it on the Xbox console and then not be able to play it on my Ally, or do I buy it on PC? And so I can play it on my Ally too, but then I miss out on playing it on the big screen and in the living room. Yep. This is the third party problem, and right now there is a big market for handhelds. The Steam Deck was probably the first big one successful that made these handhelds, PC handhelds, so popular. And now we have the Ally, the Legion Go, and so on. You have all these handheld devices. And the market is there. People love to have handhelds that run their games natively. And having a dedicated Xbox handheld would be just absolutely awesome. like you said, boot it up, and all your games that you own on the console are there.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to worry where do you buy your third-party problems. About a lot of games don't have Play Anywhere. Even Xbox games, you can't. Fallout. Everyone's playing Fallout right now again, right?
Yep.
Doesn't support Play Anywhere. No cross saves. It's just not a seamless experience to go back and forth. There are only a handful of games, like the Xbox first-party games that are in Game Pass and a bunch of other Game Pass titles that do support it, but that's about it. And so having that convenience of a dedicated handheld, Xbox handheld, would be just absolutely fantastic. My personal guess has always been that this is gonna be a next-gen thing. That they start the next gen not with just a regular console. They will have that too, but the Series S is like a Switch device, a handheld that you can also dock to your TV. And that would be an absolute killer argument to invest into the ecosystem. If that's the case, if it's gonna be a next-gen thing, I highly doubt that it will be at this showcase, honestly. However, if they decide to make the handheld their mid-gen refresh thing, and that they ditch the Xbox Series Slim that they've leaked last year during the FTC trial. Remember that Alexa-looking, adorably cute Xbox console that was basically a Slim. It's the same specs like the Series X, just a bigger hard drive, a better Wi-Fi, and a different form factor. So your typical Slim. They ditched that and rather invest in a proper Xbox handheld to come out this gen. It could absolutely be at this showcase. And I would actually love that, because do we know if Xbox is going to start in 26, maybe 27? Do we know if the handheld market isn't saturated by then? Think about it. How many handhelds are there right now on the market? All PC handhelds, but that market is getting kind of saturated. And the longer you wait, the more challenging it will to get a handheld to customers that are interested in a handheld, because they will probably all have one by 26 or 27. So it would make sense.
That really depends, Boxberg, and that's a great point. Saturation of anything in a market is never good, and you're right. The handheld market is getting more crowded. The issue, though, is honestly, and I'm not downgrading myself.
Yeah,
I have a ROG Ally. It's a great piece of tech. It's just not the kind of tech that I want. And
I do agree.
That there are a lot of people that want exactly what you said, a simply plug and play, turn on and go. And I
have
think
the console on the go.
For that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm just saying that the longer you wait, the more saturated the market will be, because not everyone is like us. Boom, not everyone. But anyway, I was on the Iron Lords this Sunday, and Cognito said, or asked me, what would be my dream announcement that makes this an 11 out of 10? And I said that they announce an Xbox handheld. So yeah, man, I'm hoping that it's true and that they will show this off. But I feel like it's probably going to be more like a next gen thing, where they started off as the Series S predecessor and then a successor, pardon me, and then we won't see that at this showcase. But I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, listen, it's a fair assessment. Infinite Umbra, let's bring you in on the conversation. But before I do, let me just catch up on 3 super chats that came the way of Simon Brandy, who drops a very generous £2 super chat and goes on to say Xbox has an easy win if we see Xbox/PC exclusive. I mean, they're going to have to talk about some sort of exclusivity. And how long that is, we don't know. The market is changing. Like I said, I'm always going to be the old man in the room who does not like the idea of Xbox exclusives going to PlayStation. I'm just always going to be that guy. And I'm not going to apologize for it. It's fine. But the market is changing, and I understand that the market is no longer, targeting me. They're targeting a new school of gamers who are used to playing here, there, and everywhere. And I think ultimately they're only going to care about making money, and nothing I can do about it. Again, I don't have to like it. I just have to accept it. But thank you so much, Simon, for the support. JJ saying 117 drops a very generous $2 super chat and goes on to say there's rumors of back compat returning to Xbox. Yes, that would be a monster announcement. I've heard the same thing. I haven't heard details, but it makes sense, right? They buy ABK. Activision and Blizzard has a ton of games that are going to be dropped into Game Pass. The backwards compatibility team is probably going to be wanting to work on these games. So yes, one of those announcements for the return of this team would be pretty cool. I would definitely dig that. Nightwolf 3186 drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he goes on to say, Boxenberger back. Showcase week just keeps getting better. Thank you so much for that, brother. Super appreciate it. So Umber, let's talk about this, because again, this is a two-tiered conversation. One, of course, the handheld. Now, listen, there are a lot of choices out there. The Legion Go, the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally. There's a ROG Ally X on the way. Great
One
pieces
X
of
player.
hardware. Yeah, great, dude. Great pieces of hardware. But if you are someone like me who appreciates them, but doesn't really, that's not my style. I am like, I want an Xbox experience that I get on my Switch. Obviously, the power being much greater. But I simply, when I go to play my Switch in handheld mode, I press the power button, I press the A button a couple of times, and I go to the last game I was playing. And that's it. And I go and I enjoy it. I'm having fun with it, whether it be for 15 minutes or an hour and a half. It doesn't matter. Xbox has an opportunity here to show off what I mean, for me, how I see it playing out is Sarah Bond, who's in charge of hardware, walking out holding a handheld. Now, it would be a prototype, obviously, and say, yeah, this is our Xbox Series, whatever handheld. And yes, we're going to be launching it in whenever. I think that would be a really big moment for Xbox, because they would get into the handheld market that has been dominated by, when you're talking about the platforms, by Nintendo Switch. And of course, what first party shadow drop? Towerborn seems like the logical one, and I really want to play that. That game looks like it's going to be amazing. But I'm waiting. I'm still waiting on that Gears of War collection in Unreal Engine 5. Let's talk about it.
So, as far as you want me to talk about both specific subjects, or
however you want to tackle it, brother. It's up to you.
Well, as far as the handheld, I am the leader of the Ally Alliance, as and we rally against the NHOs, which includes Mr. Joanna Dark, John Wolf. Now Kay Asante apparently is in on it. Kay tried to play innocent, but he's villainous behind the scenes. Don't let him fool you.
Not villainous. I love it. That's great.
He's villainous, and he tried to do it with kindness too. Like, hey, that's a nice device there. I had that about 5 years ago. He'll say something like that, like killing
like, you with kindness. So,
exactly.
As such.
But so, having played the ROG Ally as I have, and Box, I know you play it as well. I see you often post about it. It's a great device, man. I know you have it as well, Boom. And it's hard to really sing the praises for it properly for those who don't care for handheld. I'm looking at the chat, and I know a lot of people are like, I'd rather play on my 65-inch. Trust me, I get it. I have my PC hooked to my 65-inch as well, so I get it. It's tough to move from that to a 7-inch or 8-inch screen, right? But I think if you are, it depends on the type of person you are and the type of gamer you are and your needs, right? So if you are on the go and you want to be able to game on the go, it's the same proposition that you have if you played cloud gaming on your phone with xCloud, for instance. So, except way better.
Way better.
And better options. So you can plug your controller up to it, or you can use the built-in handheld, controller on it. So there is that, and you can get a lot out of this thing. I mean, from emulation to to current gen games, everything like that. I've done it all. I've played Hellblade 2. I posted about that. I played Hellblade 2 on it. Worked phenomenally. Also, I've tried Halo on it. I've played Starfield on it. That's why I racked up so many hours in Starfield, actually being away from home, at work or wherever, and being able to play this. So for me, being able to have a device that Xbox can call home does a few things. One, it satisfies, and I think it settles down that worry a lot of people, a lot of gamers have of Microsoft leaving the console space, right? It kind of says, hey, we are here to stay.
Yep.
I think that helps cement that thought, because a lot of the thought is, oh, they're going to go third party and that's it, right? That's a lot of people still have that in the back of their head. I know they do. This right here says, no, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, we can tell you the words, but we're showing you we wouldn't make this dedicated device otherwise. So I think they're going to show that, if that is the case, that this happens, that, you know, we are here for the long run. As far as hardware goes, it's easy to get to software. I won't say easy because it's costly, but you know what I mean. Actually putting in R&D for development of the device is a trickier proposition, where it's going to cost way more money and, you know, dedication to get that right. Now, I would wonder what the specs would be. See, and that's where the problem I think comes in at. And if they're saying, hey, this is a standalone device a la a PSP or a PS Vita, it's a standalone device that doesn't require you to have to tether it to a somewhat of a eGPU, for instance, that you would plug it up to like you would when you dock a Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Then nobody can be like, well, see, it'll hinder development for the next gen. They can't use that excuse. If it's its own separate device that allows you to play current and last gen games, previous gen games, I'll say, let's go back to maybe even the 360 as far as what they'll allow. Let's just say that's the case, if that's the case.
Right.
And so if they have it as his own device, I think that alleviates that. Now, if they have it where we're talking about the 2 SKUs next gen, where it's going to be one dedicated straight to the plug into the TV device like the Series X, and the Series S version would be the handheld, then you might have that worry of the delta between the two, right? So that's possible, but I guess it depends. I feel like technology is ever advancing, and you have so many wizards there behind the scenes doing what they do. And we've heard about the handheld, their what's the name of their the Surface team, allegedly working with them. I wouldn't be like, with the technology they managed to squeeze into the Surface and the Surface Pro and all of that, I wouldn't be surprised if, with all these new chips we see coming out and all these new advances, that they might find a way to make this thing capable of doing everything it needs to do next gen, and still be dockable and not hinder any development of other games and things like that for the higher end SKU.
Well, that makes sense, dude. I mean, what you're saying, I think you really hit the nail on the head, because the best bid in the business is working on the next standard underneath your TV box, right? Jay Ronald and that team are working on the next Xbox. Work on that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Having the Surface team be a part of what is going to be the handheld, whatever that looks like, whatever it winds up being, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal, because they do some incredible work with the Surface, and they know how to make portable things like laptops. I see that I see that this is going to be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I can see that. And this is my thing. I'll say this, and I've said this before, and I don't want this to sound funny, because it's going to sound funny. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to sound like, what? This bot. But I'll say this. We talk about our Hoove brothers, right? And how, hey, they're this, they're that. One thing they are for sure is loyal. And they will go out and buy all these ridiculous peripherals and things of that nature from Sony that they're not going to use or whatever. When you have something that like this, I think, where it's a capable device, if that is the case, let's say it's a capable handheld device, it would behoove us to support Microsoft in this endeavor because it pushes them further to continue, advancing when it comes to technology and in that aspect. People have been clamoring for a handheld from them for a long time. This is not new, and they have been, oh, give us a handheld, give us a hand. Now you say that and then you don't support it. You've defeated the purpose of doing all of that begging for it. And it doesn't incentivize them to try out anything else going forward. It might just push them out of the console space for all we know. I'm just saying, I think if you all want all of that, support them, support and get the devices that you've been begging for, literally. Like as long as it's a decent product, of course. I'm not advising you to get something that's trash. Like for instance, I wouldn't ever be like, man, go get the Portal. You want to support Sony? Like I would never tell you that because it's not worth it. But if you're going to ask for this and they give you a capable, let's just say it's capable and comparable to, and I guess K Asante will like this since he loves this device and he used it to rub it in my face. Let's say it's comparable to the AOK Zoe or whatever how you say it, Zoe A1 Pro. That's an 8-inch screen, is more powerful than the ROG Ally. Let's say it's comparable to something like that. Now that thing is pricey. But I'm guessing that Microsoft will have cost cutting and such like that, so the device might not be crazy. I don't know, but let's just say it's comparable in some ways to that or the ROG. I think there's more than reason enough to get on board. So my thing would be to fans, if you on the fence of it, look and see what they're offering spec wise, if it's true.
Yeah,
and say, hey, maybe I might support this because again, you're not going to keep getting these types of things from them if there's no actual support. I think that's the biggest problem for them right there. But the good thing is that it offers options. If this is not something that is hindering anything next gen, then I think it's something they should do. You just have it as another option of gamers what they can use to go and play on the go.
I think you're onto something. I don't know how expensive this device is going to be. I would imagine it's going to be pricey. And you know what? That's fine because you don't have to buy it. I think that we are starting to get into a realm where handhelds are no longer like what? You know what I'm saying? And that's not just because of the Switch. That's because of the Steam Deck. That's because of the ROG Ally. That's because of the Legion Go. They're becoming more mainstream, which is the same thing you can say about how Xbox Game Pass isn't as foreign for people as you think because everyone has a subscription service, usually 5 to 10 of them. So this is not new, right? This is not a new conversation that we're having. This is going to be a device that if you want, because I'll buy both. I am in for the hardware into the TV and something I can take on the go that acts like what's underneath this underneath the TV. It's got to be a box. It's got to be plug and play. It's got to update its own drivers like Xbox does. A game needs an update, you leave it on sleep mode, it updates by itself. That's all I'm looking for. I don't want to have to do the rigmarole, but really good stuff.
I would say that too, and that, like you said, you mentioned it a while ago. You said, I'm sorry to jump back in, but you mentioned
that's all right.
If they have it as a dedicated thing, which I'm thinking, I mean, we've been hearing all this stuff about these virtual machines. They're probably going to leverage that going forward, where they can have these other devices, the ROGs and all of that, use those things where you have essentially an Xbox anyway on those devices, right? But let's say that that's not the case, whatever. If that's another cool thing where you don't have to go, like you say, through the rigmarole. One of my biggest worries of going and using PC was not having that console experience where I just plug, play, and go and get the gaming. I don't want have to do all this other stuff and update the drivers or whatever the case may be, get the BIOS or whatever. I don't sometimes want to have to go through that right now. The PC I have, I don't really have that issue, but I'm just saying in general that you want to just have it ease of use. If they have that like that, that would be even better, just to have it straight dedicated straight to Xbox. No worries of the Windows cluttering up anything or whatever. Treat it like a Steam Deck OS almost, but with Xbox. That would be really cool.
And hopefully that's in fact the case. I'm sure that they have been hearing the feedback. They know that this is going to be a big deal. A lot of people want a game on the go. A lot of people are looking for that simplistic console-like OS. And I think that's what they're working towards right now. Crazy Lou Gaming, let's get your hot take on this. obviously this is a two-tiered conversation. There are talks, depending on who you believe and you don't, that the Xbox Series handheld could show up at the showcase. Makes a lot of sense. It's going to be a very big stage. We have been hearing for weeks that they are not leaving anything behind. It is going to be a balls to the wall, kitchen sink and everything kind of a showcase. That's what they need. I'm looking forward to it. But more importantly, do you believe that there is going to be another or a potential first party shadow drop like we saw with Hi-Fi Rush?
Like for the handheld situation, I mean, I'm with Boxenberger with the whole situation. Like we mentioned, it's gonna be like a next gen thing. But to be honest, though, it's time to talk about it. I feel like it's time, like, for them to bring that handheld into subject, so we can know more about it. What's gonna come? How is it gonna be? How's it going? So we can start comparing it to the other handhelds. And yes, I mean, it's time for them to show it. It's time for them to bring it to the table, because they mentioned this year about the big technological leap. It's time that we have more information about that to see what's going to be the big technological leap for next gen. And I know it's going to be big. I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be big since they mentioned it. So it will be interesting that in this showcase, I can show the handheld, see how everything is going to work, see what's the big technological leap. And yeah, they got to bring that thing into the talks right now, because basically all there has been like a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff, but now we actually do believe there's actually a handheld out there that's going to be probably to the next gen console. But like how Boxenberger says it, though, is it going to be oversaturated? I mean, we got to know what's it going to bring. Is it going to have a better battery life than the other handhelds? Because that's something I say about handhelds. I used to have a 1X player, and the battery was like an hour and a half. So I had to like kept charging that sucker. I had to keep on charging it. And basically, one of the things I have is that if for a good handheld to be like the hours for it to last should be like between like 3 and 5 hours. That's actually a good range for a battery life for a handheld. And of course, if it comes out, let's say, okay, on the go, it's 1080p 60 or 2K 60, I don't know. But as long as the battery life is good, I mean, I'm happy. I'll be really happy about it, because then I'll say, okay, I'm going to get this sucker. Because like I said, I had a 1X player and I had my difficulty with the battery life, and I was like, nah, this is not for me. And I sold it right away. So, for the whole shadow drop situation, right? Every time there's a showcase, everybody talks about there's going to be a shadow drop. There's going to be a shadow drop. There's going to be a shadow drop. Me, I'm this type of guy that just says, when I see the show, I'll see if it's an actual shadow drop. But if there is a shadow drop, it could be 88 Immortals, or it could be there's people talking about that Octopath Traveler that could be shadow dropped. And yeah, I mean, I'll be excited for whatever if they actually do bring any shadow drop in scene. So let's see what's gonna happen. I mean, this show's gonna be interesting this Sunday.
I mean, look, the shadow drop, I am hoping, is going to be a big one. I'm not, and again, nothing against Towerborn. I think Towerborn is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yes, Towerborn.
That is going to be
that's the Lady Immortals.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Towerborn is going to be one of those games that you play like Castle Crashers with your buddies, and it looks like it has very deep RPG roots. Hand drawn, looks amazing. I think that's going to be something special. Jez Corden of Windows Central can't stop gushing about it. And I didn't get into the beta, unfortunately. I only got the code for Steam, which I don't play on PC. So yeah, I declined. I wanted to play on Xbox. I didn't get in. It's fine. I'll wait for the game to come out. But Jamie Moran, let's bring you in on the topic of potential hardware conversation in the form of handheld this upcoming Sunday. That would probably be handled by Sarah Bond, I would imagine. And is there a chance for a big AAA first-party game to drop the day of the show? Like really put the punch into the industry? Because again, Sony failed. Their showcase was horrible. Nintendo already said that they're not talking about the Switch 2, not saying they're not going to have a good showcase, Not saying that they're not going to have a good show at all this year. They probably will. But if we are looking at the importance of a showcase for any of the platform holders, it is Xbox. And this is their time to shine. If we're hearing that there is no holding back on this particular showcase, these two things need to happen. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'll talk about the whole shadow drop thing first. I think it's going to be one of two games. I think Towerborn is the most likely one. But I think if you really want to set the world on fire, it has to be something a bit bigger. And I think the other one could be the Oblivion remaster / remake.
Ah, dude, that's a great pick, bro.
That's a
Wow,
good
that's
one.
a good one. Yes.
That's a good one. Yeah, didn't think
I-
about that one.
Am I saying that just because I love Oblivion? Maybe. But I think it's very possible because like that was actually in the FTC documents, which Microsoft employee leaks. So I think that's kind of possible. And I've seen it listed as a remake and a remaster, so we still don't know what's going on with that. But if Microsoft, we all know the beginning of the year was atrocious, right? When it comes to the whole perception thing. So like if you give people a shiny new game the day of their big showcase, and it happens to be an RPG, one of the most beloved RPGs of all time, that's going to get them some praise. I think people will really like that. I'm looking forward to Towerborn. Don't get me wrong, but I'd rather have Oblivion. So I think it could be that. And when it comes to the whole hardware thing, I've been thinking this for a while, and as Boxenberger said, I think it's a weird thing because if the handheld Xbox is a next gen thing, I don't think we'll see it at all. I don't think they'll mention it. There won't be any slides. I don't think Phil Spencer will be wearing a T-shirt. I just don't think that'll be a thing. However, I think if it is happening this gen, it may be like an Xbox Series S just squeezed into a handheld. We have the technology to do that now.
Yep.
And I think, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, the handheld space, like, should Microsoft or Sony get into it? I'd say no. I'd laugh in people's faces. But the Steam Deck proved that there is a market for handheld devices outside of Nintendo. They did it right with the Steam Deck, and now everyone's making one. The ROG Allies picking up steam, and like people love that as well. So like if they can make it a native Xbox handheld where it is your Xbox games, your console games, and the best thing about Xbox is their ecosystem. Everything's interconnected.
Yeah.
You just sign into your console or PC and your games are there. It just works. And that's Xbox's strong suit. So if they can get that to work on a handheld and maybe launch it this year, I think people would love that. Price is obviously going to be a factor, but again, if it's an S squeeze into a handheld, it might not be that expensive. And I think that Microsoft, they clearly need to do something to change the tide. I do think the whole Game Pass getting Call of Duty thing, that's going to be a big mover for Xbox this year. I really do. But I think the state of gaming right now, and they have a cheaper product with the Series S. I think if they have a handheld, it could really work in their favor. Sony, they've never really gave their handhelds, that much attention. The PlayStation Vita was much beloved, but they didn't really put many first-party titles on it that were big, and they abandoned it. So, like, if it works with all of your Xbox games, and that would be the major thing, if it works with everything you have, it'll be a huge success. And ever since the original Xbox, I've seen people talk about an Xbox handheld, want an Xbox handheld, because I love the idea. And bear in mind, I don't play games on the go. I play games on my couch, on my chair, and I have no interest in a handheld. However, the thought of an official Xbox handheld, that does interest me because their hardware is top-notch.
Yep.
So I think that if it is this generation and it's a Series S handheld, we'll see it this Sunday and it will release in October.
Dude, that would be because I like the potential idea that people were saying that could this be their mid-gen refresh in the form of a handheld? It's something they don't have. We don't know. Again, we keep hearing that it's real, the PS5 Pro. We don't know if it's real, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. Sony's having trouble selling PS5s. Xbox is not having trouble selling consoles, as we saw the Series X selling out everywhere. I'm telling you something right now. There's a couple of contributing factors here, gentlemen. You add a handheld, which is it's the craze right now. It's the hotness, as the kids like to say, right? Everybody wants to game on the go with something that is uniquely powerful. If you were to release an Xbox branded handheld that is the same experience in its OS, the way that you get when you turn on your Series X or your S, and you incorporate the potential of not only Game Pass, but specifically Call of Duty, you are going to sell these freaking things like hotcakes. And I'm going to tell you right now, here
Mm.
is a scenario that we literally just dawned on me right now. I've been saying it for weeks. If I'm marketing, and I know Xbox is listening, you drop the Series S to $199 during the holidays. You drop the Series X to $349, and you include a card for 30 days of Xbox Game Pass, which on the box is going to have whatever the artwork for Call of Duty is going to be. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be the Cabbage Patch scenario all over again from the 80s. If you're old like me, you'll know exactly what the H I'm talking about. But if you add a freaking handheld to that conversation, holy shit, do you have you have a scenario. And again, this is all speculation. It's unlikely any of this is going to happen. But just imagine even the crooked media who goes out of their way because they're chasing, the clicks to report badly about Xbox. They won't be able to do that because no one is going to care. People are going to buy the Xbox handheld. People that are on the outside right now, maybe they're PlayStation 4 owners, want to get into Xbox. They get a $200 device that can play Call of Duty at 120 frames per second. It would be a real turnaround for the brand, at least in my opinion. And again, that's if everything comes to fruition. I don't think it will, but I do like the idea of telling us that this hardware exists. And shout out to you, Umbra, for bringing up the point where it would solidify, hey, the rumors of us not making hardware are untrue because look. And I think that is a big deal.
Yeah, the rumors of our demise were greatly exaggerated, but also too,
exactly, yes.
What if I'm just throwing this out there as what if? I'm sure that I'm wrong, but what if this device here, the handheld, was also the actual thing that would allow us to be able to play Steam games that we were talking about?
And that's an interesting theory. Wow,
would
be dope.
Yeah, what if this was actually the thing, not next gen where they're going to have Steam on Xbox, but they might do that too. Let's just say, but let's say, what if this device was actually the whole thing that they settled on to play Xbox games and play Steam and stuff like that? What if that was the thing? How cool would that be as well?
It would be really cool.
Just throwing it out there.
And maybe it would be the test to see how the implementation of that would work on the handheld that would be mirroring the next gen console. Like, how could we get Steam as well as the Epic Games Store to work on a console? Oh, I don't know. Let's try it out on the handheld.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Sense.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, you threw it up there. I just dunked it. It was fine. Good teamwork right there. But look, we have 45 minutes left of the show. It's probably going to finish a little earlier, depending on how long we take with the next topic. I have to actually go and I had to buy a new laptop for this trip. I didn't want to. I had no choice because how I was going to podcast from LA, it wasn't working. I have a tip of the spear, a tablet, and nothing would work. And I'm like, oh man, I got to buy a laptop. So I actually have to go to Best Buy and pick it up because I'm leaving on Thursday and get that all set up. But so there will be 3 shows, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as I promised. I just had to spend extra money I didn't want to spend, but it's fine. Such is the life of a podcaster. Sometimes your equipment doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and well, you got to buy new ones. Gentlemen, this is going to be a fun one. Chat, this is for you as well. First of all, I want to welcome in over 1,200 people. That is bonkers. We have, and according to this, 811 people watching on YouTube, 400 people watching on Twitter. And I do ask, if you are finding the channel for the first time, please help me and Mrs. Boom get to 15,000 subscribers by simply hitting the subscribe button. And if you're feeling ultra generous, please consider hitting the bell icon so you know when I go live. But this is the topic. Boxenberg, I'm going to you first because you are our special guest. What makes this show an 11 out of 10 for you? Like, what has to happen that you say, my God, I've never seen a show this good? Now, before we get there, let me just catch up on Super Chats. I should have done that first before I even posed the question. I will repose the question because there's a lot of Super Chats here. Yeah. Omerta War, who's been a channel member for 9 long months. Brother, that is very kind of you. Thank you for the outstanding support. He goes on to say, the Steam Deck is my favorite handheld since the Game Boy. I hope Xbox makes one too. Yeah, dude, that's a pretty strong statement because the Game Boy was dope. I had a Steam Deck and I sold it. I'm not a PC guy. I wish I was. I wish I was a PC guy. Unfortunately, I am not. Jonas the Dad, hey, welcome back, brother. He has become a channel member once again. Jonas, that is very kind of you for supporting Double Barrel Gaming. We definitely appreciate that here. Sir X-Men drops a very generous $5 super chat. And he goes on to say, everyone gives me a hard time about this. I want a handheld that will take an online SIM card, download and play games, 5G anywhere. I'll buy day one, #facts. I mean, that's a great idea. I don't know if they would be able to implement it or they wouldn't, but it's definitely an idea for sure. Michael Mooney drops a very generous £5 super chat. And he says, what if the handheld rumors are a PlayStation Portal-like Elite G3 controller? I'll say this, epic fail. If that in fact is the case. The PlayStation device that they call a handheld is limited by you being in the same house with your stuff. And you need a very strong Wi-Fi to get that thing to work. I don't like not having memory options on it. I hate the fact that it's just a hub. It's just literally a screen with a cut in half controller. I don't like that. I want a ROG Ally powered Xbox handheld. I think that's what they're going for. Pixel Bit G, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 super chat. He goes on to say, where do I fall in the Legion and the 1X Goons Umbra? I also say Xbox handheld, $499, Xbox GPU for docking, $499 for next gen. Xbox OS is the key piece. Yes, absolutely. It needs to act and play like an Xbox. If it does that, then it's going to be really well worth its money.
Shout out to Pixel, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonas the Dad drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, my Series X is on my 85-inch QLED. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a big TV, dude. Wow, that's 85. Wow, that's tremendous. I have a 65, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. 85, that's got to be a sight for sore eyes, so to speak. JJ Saying 117 drops an additional $2 super chat, and he goes on to say, funny, Hypercharge skipped PlayStation. Yeah, Hypercharge is so much fun. I'm so happy for that developer. He's an emotional guy. Please support this dev. It was made by a handful of people, and all he wants to do is sell his game. And you know what? I love those win stories. You know, the little guy that could go support Hypercharge. It's a really fun game, especially if you grew up playing with action figures like I did. It's definitely a homage to anyone that was a kid. Sat Nist drops a very generous $5 super chat. And he goes on to say, what if the Xbox handheld could quick resume on console and PC? Dude, that would be dope if it could do that. Nice. On console and PC, when you sit down at home, one button in the menu, cloud save, state transfer, boom, done. What, dude? Please someone hire this person and get him on the team to make this device, because that sounds super dope. Highlander 001, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 super chat. And he says, boom, I got back from my trip from Japan with my son. A birthday gift. 95% of gaming in Japan is mobile. First of all, your son is awesome for taking you to Japan. It's one of my dream trips. Hopefully, you had a great birthday there, brother, and welcome back. He goes, 95% of gaming in Japan is mobile, digital games, not physical. Phil sees the future. Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. Japan is a big deal, especially if you get a handheld and games worth playing on that handheld, especially if they if Japanese gamers appreciate them. It would be dope. Looking forward to that actually happening, and it would open up the market for Xbox, and that market for them has been just awful. Starfield guy drops a very generous £2 super chat, and he goes on to say, new consoles, handhelds, controllers, I'm buying them. Yeah, I'm buying them all too, brother. I need one. I actually just bought a new freaking Elite 2. It was $95 at Target. It's the red one. I'm not a big fan of red, but for $95, I couldn't say no. CYV Studio drops a very generous $5 super chat. And he goes on to say, an Xbox handheld locked to the Xbox operating system only, it won't work. It has to have a version of Windows in some form. Yeah, I don't know so much about that. I think it can be locked, but when we say locked, if like Umber was saying, what if it's that machine that gives you the ability to do Steam, which would be great as just simply an app, or Epic Game Store, then it's not technically locked, but it's an Xbox device. It just has other abilities to play other games, which it should. And Will Lewis drops a very generous $5 super chat. And Lewis goes on to say, or Will actually goes on to say, partially incorrect on the portal information. You do have to be in your home network for it. It can be used outside your home as well. Yeah, I know, but you know, and thank you for the correction, Will. You are 1,000% right. Really, what I was aiming to get across was the fact that it is very limited, that there's no onboard storage. You are literally just streaming a game from your console. I think that is incredibly limiting. I should have been more clear, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity, but more importantly, thank you for the correction. And lastly, because he hasn't done this in a few days, and I guess he's just been jazzing for me to say it, I've been whacking off for days. Drops a £2 super chat and says, I've been gone for a bit. I'm back. Hope you're well, Boom. Brother, thank you so much for the generosity and, of course, always the laugh. Boxenberger, here we go. What makes the Xbox showcase for you an 11 out of 10?
Well, we just talked about that. That's the handheld. Listen, if they really gonna show that, that's an 11 out of 10. But I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said earlier, I think that's the next gen thing, and we just will have to wait a little bit. But there are a couple of other things that they could make or do at that showcase to really elevate it to the next level. And I actually feel that they are going to do that, because if you think about last year's show, which was awesome, there's no doubt about it. But many of the games that they have announced there, shown there, were more like in the AA space. You know, if you think about a game like Clockwork or probably South of Midnight and games like that, which I'm super looking forward to and I'm super excited about. But this year feels like the year where they really come out with a lot of bangers. It's probably all safe guesswork. They won't all be there, but you know, we have Gears, Doom, right? Fable, Perfect Dark, Everwild. Is that going to come back? And so on. You can continue that list of big reveals, AAA games. And I think if they nail that pacing, you know, open the show with, I don't know, Gears or Doom, and then show us what Perfect Dark looks like, and then you get a release window for Fable in 25, and then you come out and show us, of course, some of the already announced bangers that are coming this year, like Indiana Jones again. Give us a release date for that. And then you continue the next ZeniMax Online game. Dude, that has been in development for 9 years. 9 freaking years. At some point, they gotta show that, right? And so I feel like this is really the year where you come out of this showcase and you feel like, okay, they got the blockbuster, the quality titles, and they got that now on a continued cadence. And if they really can pull that off, I think this is going to be one of the best shows that they've ever had. And of course, we got to be a little bit careful because we say that probably every year. This is the year, yeah. But if I look back at the last 2-3 showcases, they have all been good. And the way was always like, okay, this one was better than the last year. This was great, but this one was better than the last year. And so, yeah, this year, I feel like we are going to see a lot of these titles. I mean, Perfect Dark, yeah, it's been 6 years. So it's probably going to be there to some degree, and we will see it. And Doom and Gears are all but confirmed to be there. Listen, Gears 6, we've heard it, we know it. Yeah, the Coalition, they are masters in Unreal Engine. It's going to be eye melting. And then we have Fable. They've shown us that last year, and I feel like that's a 25 title. So I expect them to have like really continued gameplay there. Then we have State of Decay 3, right? It's also one of these forever games. At some point, we gotta see that, and I feel like State of Decay probably going to be more in the mid of the show because they have to do a little bit explaining around that. But we know the Coalition helped out. They founded actually a second studio to focus on animation work. And State of Decay 3 is probably going to be that game that they always had in mind, but were limited in doing so because of limited funding and budget and resources. And so, yeah, man, it's going to be an incredible thing. And if you then sprinkle in some cool announcements from third parties, you have probably going to be there. Star Wars Outlaws. They had that on the show last year. It's gonna come out at the end of August. So yeah, we will probably see that. But if we get think about it, Tomb Raider, they have been very close to Crystal Dynamics now, and Tomb Raider, we hear it's pretty far along in development. So why not have something like that there? But if you talk about an 11 out of 12 announcement, they gotta do one thing, man. One thing. And it's probably not gonna happen, but it would elevate the show. It would elevate the show, And that is, they have another partnership with CD Projekt Red on marketing, and CD Projekt Red comes out and shows the next Witcher.
Wow, dude.
That
big.
Would be it, right? That would be it. But yeah, man, overall, I feel really, really good. If you think about all these studios that they have and all the projects that are in development, and I haven't even talked about things that could come out of ABK, yeah, right? It's just insane. And then we know that they will show some sort of hardware. Sarah Bond has said that they have hardware for this holiday season. Now, whether it's the Slim, which is highly likely, along with a new controller, man, that controller, I'm looking forward to that. But maybe we get a little next-gen tease. Maybe we get something like that. But we will have some sort of hardware there. There's going to be tons of games. And we know it's not going to be Call of Duty in the actual showcase because they have a dedicated developer direct. So that's good. It's like, really, there's everything there to make this an absolute success. And I'm really, really excited. And Xbox kind of needs that, excitement again. What else can you do other than show great games? And they have them. And I'm more than ready for Sunday, man.
Yeah, I mean, great picks all around. I think that you put out a great palette of what could make this show an 11 out of 10. Listen, let's bring in Infinite Umbra. For you personally, Infinite, what can Xbox do for you to make this show an 11 out of 10?
Well, I'm sure many of you all in the audience and yourself, Boom, have guessed it, and my panel mates here. Stray being launched into Game Pass. 10 out of 10, baby. 11 out of 10. Okay, nobody fell for that one.
No.
I had to mute my
They
mic.
said
I
it
would
was
have
gonna
laughed
be
to let
game of the
everyone's
year,
ears
though.
out. Yeah, Stray and Game Pass. Yes.
But they were saying that should be game of the year at one point. Why is nobody excited? I don't understand this.
We got a little kid in big city. That's even better.
No, but for me now, I think that Oblivion, when you mentioned Jamie, was definitely that would be 11 out of 10 for me, because that's one of my Mount Rushmore games right there. So I would lose my stuff for sure. So 100% that. Box get it. That was a good one too with The Witcher. I would absolutely go crazy over that too. What if it's not necessarily a first party like Boxenberger was leading to, but some type of exclusivity or whatever to Splinter Cell? And we just hear that and a little light 3 dots come on the screen and we actually see gameplay finally.
Oh,
and
yes.
I'll go even further and do something that's ridiculous and say like they've acquired the license or the IP of Splinter Cell as well. Like imagine something like that. It's kind of crazy. But even just having Splinter Cell that a reboot would be an 11 out of 10 moment for me. It draws back to the original OG Xbox, where Sam Fisher was right at home here, and I think that would be something that would kind of ignite the fan base, honestly, get us all hyped, especially if you hear like Michael Ironside, Lambert, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that would be pretty dope. If not that, I'll stick to something first party. I think we all expect Gears 6.
Yep.
I think we all expect possibly the Gears collection. What if the shadow drop is maybe the collection? The collection makes sense as a shadow drop, by the way. I want to throw that out there. Just to throw it out there, that if we had a shadow drop, the Gears of War collection makes perfect sense to be that thing. If not Towerborn.
Crackdown 4.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Crackdown 4 wouldn't exactly be 11 out of 10 for me, but I'm sure Colt Eastwood would be very excited for it. He was very hyped for the past one, but I think Gears is an easy one to pick. If I had to say something that would shock everybody, especially with the hype surrounded about it, what if there was an announcement of Fallout 3 and 4 remakes being shown off there? And
I mean, that's not a bad pick, dude. That's not a bad pick.
And I say that only because it's been a lot of excitement swirled around Fallout because of the show. You even had some of the people we know flown out, and or as we would say, flew out to Europe and everything like that. And I'm pretty sure that was tied to, I'm not pretty sure, I know that was tied to Fallout, according to Paris himself on Kay Asante's podcast. He mentioned it. So what if it's like, hey, now he didn't see this maybe, but they were talking about, I think, Fallout 76 when he went. But what if this right here is tied to or did he say Fallout, or did he say something else? You know what, I almost forget. It may have been Elder Scrolls Online. I forgot what he mentioned now. But what if it's that they showed them that, but they actually do have the remake of Fallout 3 and 4 in the works, and that's shown off there, and it's in glorious Unreal Engine 5. I wouldn't be me if I didn't mention Unreal at some point. That would
that's
dope.
your middle name officially now. So
oh yeah. So for me, I guess if I did have to say an 11 out of 10, Splinter Cell would definitely do it for me. One of my all-time favorite games, franchises, whatever you want to call it, IP. Having it brought back to Xbox, even if it wasn't exclusive, just to know that we're getting it day and date, maybe whatever, maybe a special little mission or something. I don't know. That would be really great to me. As far as anything else, as far as the show, I think we can expect. I mean, well, to be fair too, if they did do the handheld, that would probably that will probably steal the show. If it's a special, if it's well done, that would probably steal the show. But let's just say some things that we can expect for sure. We can expect them to possibly bring in a lot of the Activision games into Game Pass finally, right? I mean, they have the COD special edition little, conference after this. It's very clear that they're likely going to be bringing past Call of Duty games into the service. So that's a plus. It might be an 11 out of 10 for some people, but I mean, bringing in, the Crash Bandicoots, the Spyros, the classic
prototypes,
the prototypes,
all
of that would be really
of the
dope.
world. Yeah. So what about even the Spider-Man?
I was going to say if they could work that out with Disney or whomever, and say, hey, can we get this over here? And even that would be pretty dope too. So all of those things, I guess we can expect. I think it's going to be a pretty hefty show.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of anything else that could possibly, what if they did this, Boom? And I think you would probably like this. What if they announced Banjo-Kazooie 3? What would that do? Would you be hyped for that?
I'm gonna be honest with you, folks. You're gonna see a grown man cry straight up. Like I've been begging for this game. I am a platform guy. I think that it is, in my opinion. You see, I don't have kids, but my nephew grew up. I watched him grow up, play games. So he's basically like my son, and we do everything together when he's here, and we play games, especially family games together, whether it be Mario Kart, whether it be Smash, whether it be Mario Party. One of the biggest things missing from the Xbox Game Pass categories is family stuff. And they have Banjo-Kazooie, which made a ginormous splash on Nintendo. It was one of the biggest announcements. You ever watch some of those announcement videos for Smash characters? Bro, it gives me goosebumps. I don't want them to reinvent the wheel. Just take the original Banjo and give it the proper attention that you saw Resident Evil 2 get. If you can get a Resident Evil 2 remake level Banjo-Kazooie of the original, I am freaking golden at that point. But yeah, that'd be a big for me.
I think they have room to really do that too. I mean, I just got through playing through the Astros Playroom on PlayStation.
Great game, dude.
Loved it, man.
You said you platinumed it, right?
I platinumed it.
Me
pretty
too.
fast. The platinum, it doesn't take all day, whatever. But it's a fun game. Now the sequel is going to be really expansive. They said 80 levels, et cetera, bosses. All of that is dope. But what that did is show that, like, for one, PlayStation doesn't have to do this whole walking simulator thing, over the shoulder thing. They can go back to the will of classic, and diversity that they've used to be known for. But I think this also shows that Microsoft can do the same with these IP, that they don't push these games out there. Get us the Conkers, get us the Banjo and Kazooies. If if you do it right and you actually put money and a budget behind it and a capable, developers, I think it could be something special too. But they just have to want to do that, and that's really what it comes down to. And I think Microsoft just has been kind of reluctant. I don't think they believe the audience is there for it, but that's unfortunate to me. And I think the obvious too is like State of Decay outside of that. And another one I will name that we haven't seen in a long while, Contraband. I expect Contraband to be there. So I think it's going to be a good show, man. I'm excited for it. I know you'll be there, going crazy at the show, Boom. So yeah, can't wait to see your reactions too. And I'm sure right after the showcase, I'm sure you'll probably pop up online or something like that. But yeah,
I'm definitely doing a show that Sunday evening. I'm just not exactly sure when the show is going to be, because obviously I have to get to LA to kind of schedule everything. So if you want to jump on, drop your bars and be like, hey, listen, I'm here. Let's talk about it. Greatest show ever. I'm going to send the invites out to a lot of people if you want to jump on, even if it's 10 minutes. Hey, give us, drop your bars and then bounce. But yeah, I'll be doing 3 shows. I'm doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will update everyone exactly when those shows are going to be. But Crazy Lou Gaming, let's get to you, brother. What makes the Xbox showcase an 11 out of 10 for you?
Oh, Mr. BoomStick, what will make it 11 out of 10? I mean, they got to bring everything to the table. Everything they have. I mean, they got to bring Contraband, like Umber mentioned. They got to bring State of Decay 3. They got to bring a little bit more, if they can, about Fable, Perfect Dark. everything they have in storage from 2020 to now, they gotta bring, into the table. They got to do that. If they don't do that, I mean, then that's not gonna be a good thing, especially with what happened last week with Sony State of Play. This is Xbox's turn to bring everything on the table so people can be like, wow, because there's a lot of fans of all those games out here. And so they got to bring it out, talk about it, show it to us, and also, give us when they're coming out because we've been waiting patiently. This is like a lot of people say it's going to be important, but I've been saying this for a while. This is going to be their biggest showcase. I mean, they got so much games in stock that they have to show. That would make a perfect 11 out of 10 for me. If they show everything, give us dates. I mean, we got Indiana Jones that we still don't know when it's going to release. We got Avowed. So much stuff. And for me, like I always say, I don't know if you guys heard me talk about this every year. For me, a perfect what would be the perfect game is Doom. And so since I heard the rumors now, I'm like, they took away, the hype because that was something I was gonna really talk about. I was like, man, they gotta show me Doom, and now I know Doom is coming. But yes, Doom is coming, so super happy to see it. And what else do we have on the table? I mean, the Xbox has so many games, also from third-party side, we got, I mentioned it, I said 88 Immortals, but it's 33 Immortals they got to talk about. Flintlock, that's another game that's been, kind of like on the down low. I already mentioned Contraband. What else is the other one? There's another one in there. Towerborn is in there. There was one more. But yeah, those studios they have made like they had the conversation with and everything. They got to show them there too in the third-party developments, because seriously, they gotta bring everything and announce day and date for Game Pass and all that stuff. I mean, dang, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big, and also they can bring the hardware talks. Awesome. Still, like I said, this is gonna be their biggest showcase. They got so much stuff to talk about. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I think it's good. There's going to be a lot of surprises. I think again we have a good idea of what's going to be there, Jamie Moran. But I'm interested to get for you personally, what makes the Xbox showcase this Sunday an 11 out of 10?
Lost Odyssey 2. I will never give up hope for that.
I'll just take a remake of the first one, brother. A remake of the original, and I'm golden.
I've been wanting a Lost Odyssey 2 since I finished the first one, but it's such a special game. I think some people might roll their eyes at this. I think a big backwards compatible drop. Obviously, that's just like a small thing, but the Xbox 360 store closes soon, so I think one last batch would make a lot of sense. A lot of fans would love that. I'm looking forward to Doom. I think we all know Doom's going to be there. It pretty much leaks. That's obviously going to be good. When it comes to third-party things, I do think we will see Dragon Age, Dreadwolf there. That'll be huge.
Oh, that's a good shout.
And EA, like they've put off showing that for years. Would I like to see the next Mass Effect? Yes, I mean, it goes without saying, but it's not happening. I think that when it comes to Gears of War, like we all know Ninja Theory, like they pushed, Hellblade 2 with the Unreal Engine 5. Like Gears of War, we've been waiting for a new Gears of War since forever now. It feels like so long since the last one. And there's the stuff with I think that I'm actually more excited for a Marcus Phoenix collection than a Gears 6. Just because like they did such an amazing job with Gears of War Ultimate Edition. They've only got 2 more games to do, and the first game was essentially remade. So if we can get Gears 2 and 3 out of that, but I think the major thing for me would be surprises. Last year and the year before, we actually had some surprises. Stuff didn't leak, and I feel like every year now, almost every showcase gets leaks, and it spoils the fun a little bit. I think in the past when Microsoft have had like big reveal, like last year, Clockwork Revolution, nobody saw that coming. It didn't even leak. So like, the big thing for me would be just surprises, really.
I mean, that's a great pick. Surprises. I'd like to see some of the stuff because remember they have a lot of games in development, some of which we've never heard or seen. we have a good idea of what they're going to show. I look, at the end of the day, they need to show their first party games, and they need to show them in big ways. We need to see Fable. We need to see Perfect Dark. We need to see Gear 6.
Yep.
Maybe even a potentially, you get a peek into where they're going for Forza Horizon 6. Is it the most wanted Japan? I would love it. I think that if they could do a Tokyo, shift kind of a, vibe to it, that would be pretty dope. I think everyone, like Assassin's Creed, which is finally getting to Japan, it's time for Forza Horizon to arrive in Japan, and that would be pretty dope. Gear 6, again, seeing what the coalition, who are the masters of Unreal Engine 5, are, again, if a smaller studio with the help of the coalition in Ninja Theory have been able to benchmark Unreal Engine 5, what do you think the masters at the coalition were able to do? It's probably going to be George Ropping, but look, let me catch up on super chats, and then we will get everyone out of here, do the outros. Shout out to, again, over 1,200 people that were watching live. If you are finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing and help us. We are at the halfway mark. Woke up this morning to 14,507 subscribers, which means that we are now on the downslide to under 500 to hit for the 15K. Would love to do that at this year's, Summer Games Fest, Xbox Showcase, IGN Live events. I don't know if we can get 500 subscribers in a matter of a weekend. It's never happened before. It's probably never going to happen again, or ever for that matter. But listen, if we can help you, if you can help us by getting there, every sub counts. We certainly appreciate all the support. But we have here Gaming Nerd Austria drops a very generous £5 super chat and goes on to say, just a small contribution for your new laptop, brother. That's very kind of you. I didn't say it to get any money, but that is very nice of you. Thanks for even doing shows while you were on your trip. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about the stuff. I mean, it would be, am I doing it to get new subs? Yeah, of course. I'm working hard to try and get to 15K, but obviously I'm going to be there. I'm very fortunate to be able to be there. So I want to do a lot of content, boots on the ground content for people that couldn't get there. I'm going to do shorts. I'm going to do videos. I bought a bunch of new equipment where I'm going to be recording on my phone with a gimbal. I bought a new gimbal, which is dope. So I'm going to be recording live from the actual showcases. I'll put that up. Hopefully you enjoy it. And of course, standard fare, we got to talk about these events, the IGN Live, whether or not it was a flop, what happened at Summer Games Fest. And of course, the tip of the spear conversation is going to be what Xbox brought to the table for the Xbox Showcase on Sunday. But thank you very much for the super chat, brother, and thank you for the kind words. Ultron Quake drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, my dream announcement is yes. Okay, so this is okay. I thought you were going to say a Halo announcement, but he says this. My dream announcement is a Halo Combat Evolved remake. Go full RE remake with it and show why Halo is the GOAT. Dude, I love that. But I'm going to take it a step further. I want to see what Certain Affinity has been doing. They have a really good opportunity, because remember, we've heard some things about it. It was supposed to be just a battle royale, and it exploded and expanded onto something more. I would like an ODST type of experience and story told from Certain Affinity. That is what I think would be an 11 out of 10 for me. But thank you, Ultron Quake, for the generosity. Leonard Herrera. Leonard, nice to see you, brother. Thank you for always supporting the channel. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, have a great time in LA. E3, support this channel. Dude, thank you very much for the kind words, and thank you for the generosity. As always, Leonard, we definitely appreciate that here. I'm going to have a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I hope there's not a delay in my flight. Supposedly on Thursday, it's supposed to rain. I hope there's no delay. I hate it because I'm supposed to get there at like 2-ish. rain. Of course, the one day it rains, it's going to be on Thursday in New York. Sucks. But hopefully that's not the case. Chris V drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, how about Xbox announces NCAA Football 25 coming into Game Pass day one? That would be monstrous because a lot of people see, I'm not a college guy, I'm an NFL guy, but I know so many people that have been waiting for this. That's going to be a big game. That's going to be a big game for EA. That would be monstrous, Chris. Finally, Jonas the Dad drops an additional, very generous $2 super chat and says, after Hellblade 2, how many devs on UE5 asked for more time? I mean, I suppose, again, I'm not a developer. I'm only telling you what I heard. Unreal Engine 5 is, of course, it's a difficult program, but much easier than previous versions, supposedly. I have no idea because I'm not a dev, but if you need more time, and I think that's the good thing about Xbox Game Studios. They have so many games in development. If someone needs time, they can get it. But let's get everyone out of here. Boxenberger, welcome back, brother. Thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Can't wait to hear what you and Dutch are doing on your Sell Your Brand, kind sir. Where can people follow you on social media, but more importantly, subscribe to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, first of all, Boom, thanks so much for having me again. It's been a blast as always. It feels like the good old days, right? So again, thanks for having me. And yeah, people can find me on the Boxenberger everywhere. And over on the Boxenberger YouTube channel, we have our regular podcast, The World of Gaming, with Wandering Dutch and different guests. Last week we had the Hypercharge developer on there. Great guy. Super cool interview we had there. But more importantly, we're gonna, of course, also cover the upcoming event in a big way. This Thursday, like every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time, or 8 p.m. Central Europe, we're gonna have our regular show with a cool guest this week. But this Saturday, Boom, we're gonna have an insanely big prediction show. We have more than 10 different creators coming in and out, doing the final predictions. We have some people even live from LA. We have you down as a maybe because for scheduling reasons, but yeah, Lord Cognito, Ainsley from Seasoned Gaming, tons of other people are going to come in and out of the show. It's going to be a blast. And then, of course, on Sunday, directly after the Xbox showcase ends, or the Call of Duty Developer Direct ends, we're gonna do, of course, a big reaction show. We have a crossover with the Living Split Screen. We have Pong and Steel Rain coming to the World of Gaming to discuss with us everything that happened at Xbox directly after the show has ended. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming, and I can't wait. Exciting times, man.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to drop by, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes in between of me running around, because like I said, I got new running shoes, folks. I'm going to be here, there, and everywhere, like Bilbo Baggins, and I'm going to try and get to everyone's shows, even if it's for a little bit, and obviously produce our own shows, as well as try and get like actual video coverage of the actual event, so you folks can see what I saw. But Boxenberger, thank you again for being here. Infinite Umbra, obviously you got a show coming up this Thursday evening with now, is Danny back yet?
He is not back yet. He'll be back next week.
Okay, so you obviously, the Fix will be live. I'm sure you're gonna have a co-host with you as well. Sell Your Brand. Where can people subscribe to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, follow you on social media?
Yes. Good show, guys. Good to have you back, Box. If only for one night. If only for one night. Yeah, man. Louis, I'm disappointed you washed that makeup off your face. But yeah. And Jamie, of course, you so well. Boom, of course, holding us down, doing as you do, Chief.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you all in the chat too for being here. You all can find me, of course, on on Twitter X, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. Thursday night, just gonna do an Xbox prediction. Nothing too crazy, just a community Xbox game show prediction show. So it probably won't be the longest show, probably an hour at most, hour and a half. Nothing too crazy. But what I want to do is have a prediction show where everybody comes in and posts their predictions on a tweet that I'm going to make, a dedicated tweet. You post your predictions, and those who are the closest, or the one person who was the closest, will get a game on the next show. I'll announce the winner next week once Danny is back. So I'm not sure what the game will be yet. I'm thinking hypercharged, like you were just talking about the gentleman a second ago, Box. So maybe I can give that away. Yeah. So this is for all you guys in the chat. I'm going to host this. Be on the lookout on the timeline. Just to post your predictions. That's all you have to do. And the one who's closest, has the most right, will win. That's the way I plan to do it. Why not? And that's it. Just trying to have some fun with that. Hoping to stop by a few other people's shows and just enjoy the excitement all around. And can't wait for Sunday, man. So yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm actually gonna, like I said, I have long plane rides back and forth, 6 up front, 5.5 on the back end. So listening to podcasts is something I'm going to do to kind of pass the time while I'm in the air. But looking forward to what you have to say. As always, hey, Crazy Lou Gaming, you didn't wear face paint. You did look like the Joker, but you were doing what Crazy Lou Gaming does. Brother, sell the brand of not only Crazy Lou Gaming, but where could people check out the new and upcoming episodes of the Xbox International podcast? And of course, there is an Espanol version where I'd like to get more people onto, especially if you only speak Spanish. Talk about it. Where can people check that out each and every week? And more importantly, follow you and your crazy antics on social media.
Mr. BoomStick, I have a lot of fun in LA, man. Have a lot of fun. And ponies, Ponies, watch out. This man has been playing pony punching simulator lately, so watch out. He's been boxing for this. Watch out for that stuff over there in LA. But man, have a lot of fun over there. Enjoy everything. Boxing Burger, man. Great to hang out with you, brother. Like
absolutely.
Always. Umbra, I know you love the painting, Umbra. Don't say no. You love that face paint, man.
I'm still worried if you're possessed or not with that painting.
Oh, nah, I still can't turn my head, like there's this thing. Not yet. I'll probably get to it one day. And Jamie, always so awesome hanging out with you. But hey, you can find the crazy one, simple and easy, on Twitter. Crazy Louis Gaming. That's where you can find the crazy one. On the Xbox International Podcast on Wednesday at 7 p.m. ET with Sour Blow, the Big Plume, and Silent Cypher. And also Xbox International Podcast en Español at 7 p.m. ET. And last but not least, Good Morning with Crazy Louie from Mondays to Saturday, just hanging out with me. I just post it and say I'm going in. That's it. And guys, I'm always there every single morning, Mondays to Saturday. So that's where you can find the crazy one.
Well, thank you for being a part of this show. And of course, definitely follow all of these creators. All of their information is obviously available very easily through going into the show notes, simply clicking on their links and subscribing. And of course, a big thank you to all of the very generous super chats that came the way of today's show. Mrs. Boom and I truly appreciate them more than you could possibly know. And of course, we're going to close out today's show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. He would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.